And welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me for my next play session of Dungeons Infinity. If you're not familiar with my videos, I've been kind of taking a look at this game. This is not at this point anyway, it's not a game that's on the market or hasn't even hit Kickstarter yet. So I'm kind of running this as a play test or just to maybe do like a playthrough of the components and see how the game works, and kind of bring that to you guys so y'all can see it. Hopefully before the Kickstarter comes out so y'all can check it out and see what it is. I've done a couple other videos. I've done a components video setup, and I did an introductory scenario. It didn't have all the components of the game, but it did have a good portion of them. This one that we're going to be playing today is called Boss Hunt. The scenario is we need to actually go through the dungeon and find ourselves 2 boss heads. We got to bring those back with us. I'm going to be playing with 2 characters, and I already have those characters chosen. It's the ones I played with the other one, my other scenario. We have the warrior and the wizard that we'll be taking, and we got everything pretty much set up for this scenario. We're only going to be drawing from a single tile deck, and I have not chose the room chart yet, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these up, see which ones we're going to be dealing with. Okay, so this is what our room chart is going to be. So we're going to put that off to the side so I know what is going to spawn in each room when it happens. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and roll for initiative, because we need to know who's going to be buying first when we come across this merchant. The red dice is for our warrior, the green dice is for our wizard. This is pretty much going to how it is the rest of the game. So we'll go ahead and roll. The one who gets the lowest is the one that's going to be playing first. Alright, so warrior rolled a 15, and our wizard rolled a 6, so she'll definitely be the one buying first. Now, just in case, like I said, if this is your first video, you're not really familiar with the game, what this is Dungeons of Infinity is a dungeon crawler game that can be played solo, it can be played cooperatively, it can be played competitively. You can have anywhere from 1 player up to 5 going in the dungeon. Now, each scenario may be a specific thing to, like a solo scenario, a cooperative, or even competitive scenarios, but a lot of them actually integrate both of them together. If you wanted to just play it cooperatively, they'll give you the rules for that. If you wanted to play it competitively, they'll give you some additional rules for that you'll actually have to do. So most of the scenarios are set up that way, so they'll integrate all that together when you're playing. With the boss hunt scenario, I will be playing only cooperatively, so all we're doing is the 2 heroes that I'm taking in the dungeon here will need to find the 2 boss heads together and make it back to the start tile without either one of them becoming exhausted at the end. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So now that we've rolled, we know who's going first. What I need to go ahead and do now is build our store deck here. For regular store items, we have 6 items that are going to go here, so we'll go ahead and reveal those. And excuse my neatness. Alright, next is our armor and weapons. We only draw 4 of these, which is going to give us a total of 10 items up here to choose from. So now that we've drawn those, we know our first player is the wizard, so we're interacting with the merchant when we first go in to start this scenario. When we go into our starter tile here, remember we know our starter tile by the one that says starter on the back. Okay, so we know we're in here interacting with the merchant before we actually go in and start exploring the dungeon. Each hero in the scenario starts off with 3 coins, so those what we're going to be using to buy from the store. So the wizard's going to start her turn off and see what she actually wants to buy. Remember that we have the little icons up at the top to show, not the top, sorry, these little yellow icons here that are circled represent how much each item costs. So 1 means it's only going to cost us 1 coin, whereas this Scroll of Evasion has a 4. It's actually too expensive for us to buy, so we can't buy that one. We can really only buy anything. It's like the 1s, the 2s, or any combination, which actually gets us to 3. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the items that our wizard's going to get, and then we'll come back and show you what I've chose. Okay, so the items that I've gone with for our wizard are the two-handed staff, which cost me 1 coin. Which gives me a power of 1. My base power on the wizard is a 3, so she'll now, when she has that one equipped, she'll get a power of 4. The next one I bought is the Super Health Potion. That's going to give us a plus 10 health, and that's discard after use. So that's all the money spent for the wizard. Now we have our empty spaces here, so we need to go ahead and fill these in for the next turn, which will be the warrior. Okay. So the 3 coins here that she spent will be discarded. And these 2 items here that the wizard purchased will go down in her inventory when we'll get those equipped here in just a minute. Alright, next we have the warrior's going to go, and he's going to choose from those items right there. When we come back, you'll see what... Alright, so the warrior went pretty typical purchase here. Went with the sword, which gives him a power 1. His base power is 5, so now he's a power of 6 with that equipped. He went with the Shield of Faith, which gives him a hit chance, -1. This is when something is attacking him. It'll take 1 point off of their hit chance roll. And Health Potion is going to be just a regular one of +5, and this one is discard after use. So his 3 are spent, and now we can go ahead and work on bringing that back down and equipping those into our inventory slots here. And those are going to get discarded. Alright, so the wizard's staff is going to go into, it can either go under left or right hand. I'm just going to put it right there in the left hand. And the health potion is just going to be something we set off to the side because we can use it and discard. It's one of the items that we're actually carrying. It's not an equipped item, so it will count against our how much we can carry. The warrior's sword is going to go, it can get, like I said, left hand or right hand, so we'll just put it in the left hand. Potion's going to be something he has just carrying, and the shield, actually, I'm sorry, left hand has to be the shield because that's the only one that can hold it, and the sword is going to have to go into his right hand. Alright, so now that we are equipped, we are pretty much ready to go and start this out. Like I said, it is the wizard's turn, so she is going to first take her action. She is going to use Firelight, probably pretty extensively this game. Firelight is the ability for her to basically throw a fireball using one of her action points. She has 4 action points to use. So one of them will be to throw a fireball into the room of her choosing or the direction of her choosing and revealing that room without her actually stepping into it. So if there's a peril in the next room like a mist or something like that, she'll be able to avoid that or know what know what is being stepped into before actually entering that room. Alright, so we've cast Firelight. She is going to cast that. Let's go ahead and go to the north here. So we're going to draw our first card. Set those off to the side. And we're going to line up the blue arrow with the direction that we're going in. We've drawn tile 15, and here for our content chart, 11 through 15 is pile of debris. Okay, so we'll take our marker here, pile of debris. We have those markers up here. These are our mist cards and markers. These are our body markers and cards, debris cards and our treasure chest cards and markers. So that's what I'll be drawing from. Now, since we haven't stepped into that room, we've only revealed it. That marker is there until somebody actually goes in and explores that. We're probably going to use our second action point. I want to go ahead and reveal the tile to the west here. Let's see what we have. Okay, we have a 13. And for our room content chart, that is again a pile of debris. Okay, so she's used 2 action points, and I'm going to go ahead and do a third one. We're going to reveal the room to the west here, east, sorry. Okay, we have room number 8. I'm going to move these up just a little bit. Okay, room number 8 gives us floor covered in mist. Alright, so when we get a floor covered in mist, we go ahead and have to reveal that card to see what kind of peril is in that room. It's automatic with a room when you enter a room with mist, or when you uncover the room like we just did with the fireball. Alright, you enter the mist and it flows all around you. You hear a loud noise behind you. You turn to see enemies swarming behind you. How did they get there? Draw the number of heroes plus 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I always say that wrong. The number of enemies that we're going to be drawing are the number of heroes plus 2. So 4 enemies total are going to be in that room, and the rewards are based on the enemy rows. Okay, so we're not going to get those out yet, but what we are going to do is go ahead and draw our enemies, and they're going to stay. They're actually going to be in that room there, but we won't know what they are. So we'll go ahead and draw from our enemy deck here, and we'll draw these upside down so we don't know what we're getting. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we don't know what enemies are going to be in there because we haven't revealed them. We just know the number of enemies that will be there. So we'll go ahead and put those aside with that card, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that space so we know what's in there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use our little markers here. We have A. We're going to drop A here into this tile here, and then I'm going to put this A marker onto that stack of cards. Those are enemy cards that we're going to have to draw once we step into this room. Any one of us step into that room, unless we're sneaking through the room or use a sneak action, we might actually be able to get around them without having to fight. Okay, so she's used 3 action points. She's only got 1 left. So what she'll do now is she's going to use her she'll use her last action point to move into the room to the west, and she has no more action points to do anything, so we've resolved all those. Now what we're going to look at is at the end of turn, we will actually the first thing we're going to do is the first thing we should have noticed right off the bat. Okay, every time I did Firelight, down here at the bottom it said draw 1 boss event card. Now I launched that off a total of 3 times, so every time I did that I should have drawn a boss event card. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, and this is going to tell us if the boss is going to spawn. Now there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet for this scenario. Our dungeon bosses we're only going to get 1 of them. Now we have a 3 in this deck here, so I don't know which one we get because we're going to be doing a random draw once he's actually spawned in. Okay, so we don't know where he is at in the dungeon, but these cards will tell us if he's actually going to spawn in or not. Alright, so our first boss event card that we would have drawn is a 0, so no boss is going to be spawning in. That's what the 0 is. The second one was a 0, and our third one was a 0. Alright, so those actions were resolved for each of the Firelights that we did, and I should have done that after each time I cast it off. It's an immediate thing. Alright, but now that we're at the end of the turn for the wizard, we have to look at the boss event chart on her card. Now every time any one of these, the first time, or I would say if any one of these actions were done, then we have to draw a boss event card only 1 time for each action done. I don't know if that's too confusing. Okay, so we didn't do any combats, so we're not going to draw any cards for that, and we didn't run at all, so we're not going to be drawing any boss event cards for that. So we're safe from having to draw any more cards. Now, had we done, let's say we had done combat 2 or 3 times for my action points, I still would only be drawing 1 card. I wouldn't draw it for each action. It would be each different action I took. Okay. All right. So Wizard's turn is finished. So now we move on to the warrior. He has a total of 3 action points, so he'll be doing 3. He can do a total of 3 actions for his turn. The first one he wants to do is he'll move into the same room with the wizard, and that was his first action. Second action will be to reveal the pile of debris. Okay, so we're going to draw our risk card here and see what it is. Ah, we get a key. This opens treasure chests. One thing I did wrong in one of my previous games is I discarded it after use. This is actually not a discard item, so we can reuse it anytime we see the chests. This is a pocket item, so we're not going to be, this does not count against our carrying limit. And if I were to sell this at the end, I could get one Farnsworth coin worth from the merchant on that. Alright, so that's going to be a pocket item, so that's not going to count against me. I'll just kind of tuck that away there. Alright, so this marker is going to go away. It's no longer needed in that room. So that was my second action to explore that pile of debris. I only have a total of 3 actions. So if I go out anywhere, I could be hopping into a mist somewhere, but I'll have to see if we can take that chance. Alright, so let's go ahead and explore down to the south here. Let's see what's there. And it'll be my last action point, so if something jumps out at me, I will be completely defenseless. Alright, so this is a 19. We line up the blue arrow and move my character there. And what do you know? 19. Oh, well, actually, no, that's good. One of my last games, the mist was the one down here, but look at that. This is the treasure chest. So 16 through 20. So we draw our treasure chest card here. But I can't do anything because I don't have any action points left. Okay? So now we're going to look at our boss events here. And we didn't do any combats. We did moving. And we didn't run. So we're going to only draw one boss event card for the moving that I did. And that is a number 3. From the looks of it, we do not have number 3 here on the board, or the tile number 3 has not spawned in the dungeon as of yet. So we're still safe. The boss has not spawned in. And that's going to end this round. And now we'll roll for the next round to see who goes first. Okay. So warrior got a 16. And the wizard got an 18, so the warrior will be acting first. The warrior's going to go first, and I'm really happy that we found that key, because if I had not, I would have to be using, if I wanted to open this up, I'd have to use one of my abilities that is Bash Chest. And that one's not a good one, because even though this allows me to open up a treasure chest without a key, the one bad thing is if I did it, I'd have to draw a number of boss event cards based on the level. So we're level 1, and I'd have to draw 2 boss event cards for that. So using the key, much better, and it saves me from having to draw all those extra cards. Alright, so now what we're going to do is our first action is going to be opening that chest up with the key, and I'm not going to be discarding it. So that's our first action. And then we draw from the treasure deck. And we get gold. Alright, so this one is this one counts as one item here. Anything, every 4 gold counts as one item. Okay, so this one is, I'm already carrying now 2 items as the warrior, and I'll show you that real quick. So the health potion is 1 item. Now that gold worth of 4 is worth 1 item. My power is 5. My base power is 5, and our carry limit is our power plus 1. So I can carry a total of 6 items, so I still have 4 to go. Alright, that was my first action. Still have 2 left. I don't want to get too far away from my friend the wizard there, so let's just move back up here with her. And I could go into another room, but again, I am really risking popping that mist out real soon. But man, this is like, I jacked up all my tokens here. I don't know. It's either waste an action point or really play it safe. Yeesh. Let's go for it. Let's go ahead and use our last action point to go to the west here. Okay. So we got a 7. And god dang it. Yep, floor covered in mist, 5 through 10. So we're going to be drawing a, well, see, I don't even have to draw a token because I'm already in the room and we're already uncovering the mist here. So we're going to draw that, see what it is. Alright, you are covered in mist and it begins to ooze up your body. It wraps around your neck and begins to choke you. You feel the life draining from you. -3 health. Alright, so I just suffered 3 health. Place a -3 health marker on the tile. Hero loses 3 health for every turn that it remains on this tile. Ooh, so... ouch. Okay, that's not good. So I just took -3 health, so I'm going to subtract that from my health here. So we've gone from 13 to a 10. And place my marker right here on it. So we know that anytime past, I guess at the end of the round, if somebody is still in that room there, then they're going to be getting a -3 health. So I need to get out of there as fast as possible. And I guess, so if you remain on the tile, I guess it's not if you pass through it. So that's a good thing. Alright, so I've taken my -3 health, and that was all of my actions. So I need to go ahead and consult the boss event charts. We did not combat, but we did move, so I'm going to be drawing 1 boss event card. Okay, we get a 0, so nothing in that one. And then we move from the warrior over to the wizard. Okay, so before we move to the wizard's turn, there is something I need to clarify. That room with the -3 health, a little worse than I thought. Okay, so we did get the -3 health for entering the room, but anyone who remains in the room will take -3 health. Okay, so if you're moving through the room, you get -3 health. If you stay in the room at the end of your turn, you get another one. So I got to go from the 10 that I was at, since I stayed in the room, I didn't have any more movement, down to the 7. So just being there in that room took 6 health off of me. Okay, so if the wizard moves through there, then she'll also get the -3 health, and I'd really rather her not do that. So the wizard or the warrior probably needs to get out of that room as fast as he can next turn. All right, so wizard's going to go ahead and go, and she's going to play it safe. She's going to go ahead and use 1 of her action points to firelight the room to the north there. All right, so we get a 16. Okay, that is going to be a treasure chest. So we're going to put that here. Now she cannot open them because she doesn't have a key. So she's going to use, okay, so we used firelight, so we're going to draw a boss event card for that. Okay, number 5. We do not have tile number 5 on the board yet, so we are still safe from the dungeon boss. Okay, she'll use her second action point to move. And then she will reveal. Now we have a connection point here between this tile and this one, since we have 2 doorways that meet up. She's going to go ahead and reveal the tile to the west here using firelight. Okay, she gets a 10. Now, even though we have a doorway here on this 10 tile, we're still blocked here because this does not have a connection point on this tile. That's kind of hard to see that, but you have to have 2 doorways in order to get through the tile. So this tile number 7 here is all closed off. I actually have to go back out this way to exit it. Alright, so first action to reveal that, second to move, third to reveal this one, and probably say I'm going to stay here. Yeah, I'll stay there. That's probably a good move. I'm getting too far away from my warrior friend there. Okay, so that's going to be the end of that round. And then now we are going to roll to see who's going to be going next first. Okay, looks like we had a tie with a 15 and a 15, so we're going to roll that again. Okay, 19 goes to the wizard, 5 goes to the warrior, so the warrior will be acting first next round. Okay, so warrior's going to go first. Doesn't want to be in that room anymore. And so he'll move 1 and then 2. And then he'll use his last action point to go ahead and open up that treasure chest with his key. Now, another thing about this -3 health marker, it stays in this room. The only way to remove it is with a paladin, I believe. I'm not sure what the ability is to do that. He must have a special ability card to remove that. But yeah, that room is dead to us. I'm never going to that one again. Unless something else happens, we'll see. But, okay, third action point was to open that chest up. So we'll see what we got now. 2 gold, worth 2 gold, okay. And so like I said, this one's only maybe half of a carried item. Okay, so that's going to go into our inventory. This is going to go away. And what did we do? The boss events for the warrior are combat, move, and run. All we did is move. So our final card, final boss event card that we need to pull for that round is going to be another 0, so we are still safe. Alright, so the only one who hasn't acted yet is our wizard, and what she's going to do is probably pop some more rooms for us. That seems to be pretty good luck right now with where we're going. We'll go ahead and go to the north here using our firelight skill. Making sure I still have that out here. Okay, and so we're going to pop the north room here and see what we got. We got a 4. That is going to give us a body. Okay, so we know we have a body in this room. Her second action point, she's going to move up. She's not going to do anything with that body. She's probably just going to go ahead and use... actually, we need to draw our 1 event card for that boss. Or not, sorry. The boss event card for that action. Alright, we're at 0, so we're still good. So that was her first action. Second action was to go in there. Third action will be to... Let's go ahead and pop this room here. Using firelight. We have a 9. 9 is going to give us floor covered in mist. Okay, so we'll go ahead and reveal that card to see what is in that room there. Okay, we have surprise event. We have as you enter the mist there, and an easy silence. Without warning, you are attacked. Alright, so this room is going to have 2 times the number of heroes minus 1. Alright, so we have 2 heroes, that's 4, minus 1, they're going to have 3 enemies for this room right here. So we're going to go ahead and set this card aside, just like we did with this one earlier here. For this room, we put those cards aside marked A, so we're going to have to do that again. We'll mark that one, if I can find the tiles here, we'll just mark that one B. Okay. Alright, so this is B, and I got it from my other one here. This is going to be room B, and we need to draw our enemies for this room without looking. So we're going to have 3 enemies. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And we're going to leave those set aside there next to the card so we can remember that when it comes time to, if we're going to enter that room or not. Okay, so we'll just leave B up there ready for us to do. Her final action, she's going to go ahead and reveal this room here to the east. And she gets a 12. Alright, 12 is a pile of debris. Okay, and that's going to be her final action. So let's see, we revealed this room, and I forgot to draw my card for this room and this one here, so we need to draw two boss event cards. So 1 is a 0, we're good, and the last one is a 0, we're also good. Now she did, during her turn, she moved, but she didn't do any combat or running, so we don't have to draw any boss event cards for that. So her turn is done, so we're going to go ahead and roll for the next round. Okay, we have a 10 for the warrior and a 2 for the wizard, so that's good. I mean, she'll be able to act first. Avoiding this room here because of the mist and trying to just get as much done as we can in here. I'm going to have her move 1, 2 to this room here. And then for her third action, she's going to go ahead and open this room up with firelight. Okay, we get a 6. 6 gives us a floor covered in mist. Wow, we're not doing too well with the mist here. It's kind of trapping us in. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, we have surprise event. As you enter the mist there, an uneasy silence. Without warning, you are attacked. So, okay, this was the same thing. 2 times the number, that's how many enemies are drawn. 2 times the number of heroes. Now this one's going to be 4 total. So we'll leave that close by. And we'll mark that one with a C here. And a C. So this one's going to have 4 enemies. So we'll go ahead and draw those. So 1, 2, I don't know why that one wasn't. 3, 4. Okay. So these enemies are going to be with this here. Alright. We're being hyper cautious, but I kind of like to know what I'm going into before that happens. Alright, so she used, this was 1, 2, 3 to open this one up, and she used Firelight, so we're going to draw a boss event card for that. Okay, we have 0, so we're still good. Her 4th action doesn't really want to be anywhere near that room and that one, so she's going to move back here with the warrior, and that's going to end her turn. Next is the warrior, so we'll have him go into room 15 here, and then we'll have him use an action point, or a second action point, to go ahead and uncover this pile of debris here. And see what we got. Scroll of Evasion. All heroes in the room get -4 on their hit chance. This is good. This means that make them much harder to hit. And so this is going to stay with the warrior. And he's able to carry a lot. So he's not encumbered just yet, but he is getting close. So we need to keep an eye on that. Alright, that was his 2nd action point, and his 3rd one. I'd like to go ahead and maybe go back here, get myself set up to go back to the merchant. There are some things I'd like to go ahead and purchase or turn in. So we're going to visit the merchant. This will happen on my next turn, so we'll just get him there set up and ready to do that. Alright, with the warrior now done, we see what we've done. Now we did 2 movements, and we did an explore, but the only thing we're going to need to draw for is the move that we did. So 1 boss event card. Alright, 19. Let's see if we have 19 on the board. Looks like we do. Alright, so we've finally drawn the boss, or the dungeon boss. So let's see what we have now. Okay, I'm just going to kind of randomize this. This is not a good thing to do, but this is not a great thing to have happen to us, but it is what it is. Alright, so we have the Enraged Giant has moved here. Alright, so now we have all of our subsequent dungeon boss cards or dungeon boss events that we pull. We're now going to be focusing on the bottom half here, which is going to tell us where that dungeon boss is going to be moving, and who's he going to be, or how much he's going to move, and who he's going to be going to. So we'll focus on that for our next round. So who's going to go ahead and act first? We have a 1 for our wizard and a 12 for our warrior. So that's good. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. Seeing as how this one's going to be with us pretty fast, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and opt to have the wizard go last, and the warrior is going to go. As per the rules, you can designate that. You can have the first person opt to go last, so that's what I'm doing here. So the warrior is going to go first. He is going to use 2 action points to trade with the merchant, so we're going to go ahead and use some of these items here, or trade those in. We're going to get, this is going to give me 6 Farnsworth coins, and I only want to turn those 2 in, so the gold's going to go back in a discard, and it's going to give us 6 coins here. Now before I've even turned those 6 coins in or put those in my inventory, what I want to do is I want to purchase real quick from the inventory that was up here previously. One of the things I want to purchase is this Scroll of Power. Okay, this is going to give us +4 power, for all the heroes in the room. So if we're all in here together, we can up our power on our attacks, which is going to probably be something we need for this dungeon boss that we have in the dungeon with us now. Alright, so we're going to put that in our inventory. And so I am currently carrying 3 items. I can carry a total of 6. So I'm good. Now that was 2 action points to engage with the merchant. I still have 1 action point left. And I'd like to probably stay as far away from the giant as possible. So I'm going to move up 1. And I know this is going to cause... Actually, no. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to run, which is half an action point to get here, and then another half action point to get here. So that took me 1 whole action point to do that run movement to get me up there. Now, it's the end of my turn. So what I've done was all I've done was run. So I'm going to draw 1 boss event card for that. Alright, he is going to move 1 towards noise 2. Alright, so we don't have anybody that's a noise 2. We have the warrior that's a noise 5. Let me focus on that real quick. So we have a warrior that's a noise 5, and our wizard that is a noise 3, but nothing that is a noise 2. So let me go see how we're going to deal with that. Alright, so according to the rules, if none of the heroes have that specific noise that it calls for, it's going to go to its default of moving towards the hero with the highest noise. The hero with the highest noise is our warrior with a noise 5. He's just moving 1 tile, so the only direction he can move towards the heroes is going to be this one here, so he's now in tile 13. Alright, so now that the warrior's gone, it's the wizard's turn. She really needs to get away from him as fast as she can, or she's going to be in combat with him. Now, what I'd really like to focus on is I need these 2 in the same room so that once he makes it to us, we can use the scroll of power here to try to get an upper hand on possibly taking him down. I don't feel very great about it just because I don't have a lot of stuff. And my health is already down. I don't have any, I'm not even XP. I haven't been fighting anything. So this is really a bad position for me to be in to face the dungeon boss almost right out of the gate. So I'll try to do what I can. So let's go ahead. The wizard's going to finish her turn out. She's going to, let's have her run to get into this room here. So that was 1 action point. Still has 3 left. And I'll go ahead. This might open up a bit of trouble for me if I expose that. Now, if I look at some of my cards here, this is to help attack. We're not attacking anything right now, so I don't need to worry about that. Evasions, wall of fires, elements, heal. There's heal all heroes in the room, the amount based on the level heroes using. So this is going to be, definitely should be one I'm using right now. Because the warrior is down quite a bit of health from that last when he got hit with the health out of that room there. So the thing we definitely need to do is go ahead and have her with 2 experience points. We're going to heal all the heroes in the room. We're only level 1, so this is going to give us +4 on all heroes. So we're going to move this one up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am now at 11. Only 2 away from my max health, so that is good. For the card, we gain 1 experience point. So we're going to give the wizard 1 experience point. She only has 1. She only has 1 AP left. So the only thing that she could do is either lose that AP, or she could put it on one of these AP meter cards like the Wall of Fire to help her out in casting it next turn, but that'll have to be the first thing that she casts off. I don't really see her needing that because I don't see this one, the dungeon boss, getting to us outside of, this is going to be like 2 turns if we wait into this room here. or we could try to go and meet it, but I don't know. Maybe I could spend the next couple of turns in this room here healing myself up or healing the warrior up, and I don't really see the other way. I don't see much because we got the mist here, so I can't run this way. And I can't go down here because I just kind of trapped myself in everywhere. And if I start fighting one of these things here, it might take too long, and he might find us here. So my only thinking is just kind of wait for him to get to us. Let's get fully healed up and see what we need to do. All right, so we're going to finish out the wizard's turn. She did do a run. All right, so we're going to draw a boss event card for that. It's going to move one to the closest, so it's going to move one space towards the closest heroes. Okay, so it's just going to move up one here. It had definitely different paths to go, but they're all the same amount. It's going to get there same amount of time, so it doesn't really matter which one you choose. Next is next round, so we're going to see who's going to go. 11 for the warrior and a 12 for the wizard, so the warrior is going to go first. Alright, so what I'm seeing that needs to happen here is we need to really get this giant drawn to us, even though this may not last too much longer. I just don't see it because we're already bringing out the dungeon boss and I haven't gotten any experience or any leveled up. So I could just try my best to try to draw it out as long as I can. So what I want to do is try to, number one, bring this towards us so we can get into a fight with it and then increase our chances of actually damaging it. Now, in order to do that, my warrior has a scroll of power, this one right here, which requires 4 action points to actually kick that off. Now with my warrior, I only have 3 action points, so I can't even fire that off. So what I need to do is I need to get it over here to my wizard so she'll have a chance to do that. So with his first action point, he's going to go ahead and trade the scroll of power over to the wizard. So that's his first action point, and his second is going to be to second and third one actually is going to be to move just move here and then back there. And the only reason I did that is to trigger this one, hopefully to move one more closer to us. So that one was 2 action points, that's 3, that's going to finish him off. So the boss event is going to be move 1 to the closest. Okay, so there again, he's going to move one more towards us, and that's where he's at. The next one to activate is going to be the wizard. So we've finished out the warrior's turn, and what I kind of stated before may have been a little incorrect about the warrior not being able to launch off the scroll of power. Yes, he can, but he can't do it in one turn since he only has 3 action points. What he would need to do is actually start building up some AP in one turn and then fulfilling out the remaining AP in the next turn. So it would just take him a little longer to launch off that scroll than, let's say, the wizard would, because the wizard, using one of her turns, can actually use all 4 of her action points to activate that. So that's why I kind of shifted it over to the wizard, because I feel like she's in a little better position to use some of her AP and still have a little bit left over to do something with. Alright, so we finished with the warrior. We have 1 room closer that the dungeon boss is going to get to us. And like I said, I don't feel like this is going to go too much longer, but I feel like at least I can give myself some kind of a shot to work with him. Alright, so what we can do is we could either launch this off, because the scroll of power is a 4 action point scroll, and it does say in the rules that it is a room-wide enhancement, does not start until the next turn of the hero who used the scroll. So even though if we went ahead and activated this now, this would not really kick into effect until the next turn of the wizard. So we need to kind of keep that into perspective a little bit. If I go ahead and launch this off now, it's not going to do anything to draw him into us because I haven't done anything to activate this one coming to us. What I would need to do is actually use maybe some of my action points to maybe do a run or something else to draw him into us. So if I look at my event cards here, Firelight looks like it's the only one that really draws in a or makes me pull a dungeon boss card outside of my normal actions. And Firelight I would have to use if I was exploring an unexplored part of the dungeon. So really the only thing I can do is maybe use a run because I don't have any combat to do, and I can maybe just run out of the room and run back again, which we'll do that since it requires half of an action point to move here in a run, and then I'll move back again, which would be a whole action point. That is going to trigger a boss event, so we'll draw that at the end. Now she has 3 action points left, so she can go ahead and stack those into the card here, unless there's something else she wants to do. She could do Spell of Evasion, we're not worried about that. Wall of Fire. Now this one is not weak towards anything, so it's really not going to help us for elements. She could heal all the heroes in the room. She'll have 1 action point left, but let's just go ahead and say we're going to go ahead and throw 3 of our unused action points onto this card here. So we'll only need 1 to activate it next round, but unfortunately it won't even go effect until the very next time. So that's what she's done. So she's done with her turn, so we're going to go ahead and draw our boss event card. It is going to move 1 room towards a noise 2. Now our warriors are noise 5 and our wizard is a noise 3. And per the rules, let me go look that up. I believe that's going to go towards the noisiest if nobody fulfills the noise condition. When it talks about a specific noise, if nobody feels that specific condition, it's just going to go towards the one with the highest noise. But I'm going to verify that real quick here. So yes, the boss is going to move towards the hero with the highest noise. Okay, so that means we are now engaged in here. We have the dungeon boss who is basically going to be engaged with the warrior. Alright, so now that the boss is engaged with us, we don't have any actions left for the wizard and the warrior, so this one is just going to get an automatic attack onto the person he's engaged with, which is us, well, which is with the warrior. So we're going to see what happens. So the dungeon boss is going to go ahead and start attacking the warrior. Now one thing to note is now that we're engaged with the dungeon boss and both of us are in the same room, we do not draw any more boss event cards unless one of us flees out of the room, or one of us would have to leave the room for us to start drawing boss event cards. So what we're going to do now is the boss is going to go ahead and attack the warrior. Alright, so the first thing he's going to do is he's going to roll to hit me. Now he doesn't have any other modifiers here. Well, he's just an 18, so he has to roll that number or lower. I have a shield that does a hit chance of -1, so that means that that is a 17, so he has to roll a 17 or lower, which is a pretty good chance. Alright, so no other way to mitigate that. 12, that is a definite hit, so successful on that. Now what he's going to do is he's going to take his power, which is 11, and he also, let me show you here, he's hitting with a power of 11, and he also does a fire elemental damage, and I am unfortunately weak to fire, so I know I'm going to take an automatic 2 points hit on that one. So 1, 2, just for the fire. Now 11 is going to be subtracted against my power Oh, no, I'm sorry. The 11 he's hitting me with is going to be subtracted against my defense of 5. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and be hitting. He's going to hit me for 8 points of damage. And God, can I even survive that? That is insane. 2 things I need to mention. One is apparently I don't know how to do math, because if it was a power of 11 hitting me minus 5, I would have taken 6 points of damage, which I still am going to take. And so let's do that now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not great, but I am still alive. The second thing is when the dungeon boss initially attacked me, his hit chance would have been an 18. I minused 1 for the shield that I have, which would have dropped it to a 17. But something I keep forgetting to do is my AP acts as a hit chance modifier for enemy attacks. So this would have dropped his hit chance down from the 17 because of the shield here to a 14. Okay, he still rolled under that, which was a 12, so the attack still came through, but I wanted to make sure to mention that. Don't forget to subtract your AP from the enemy's attacks, because this is what helps you out right there. Alright, so he's attacked. He's already finished that. I took the elemental damage for 2 fire, and his my defense, which blocked 1... Well, no, not my defense. Yes. My defense, which blocked 5 of that damage coming through. So we're still alive, but not by much. So that's going to end the turn for the dungeon boss, and then it swings back over to a new round. So we're going to go ahead and roll and see who goes first. Depending on who we get, we might change the order up. But it looks like the warrior is going to go first, and the wizard is going to act last. That's tough. I would really like this scroll of power trying to be activated as soon as possible, but I guess it doesn't really matter now. But my power rage ability, I know we'd like to get this acted or get this started to build up at least before I'm dead. So we'll see. So this one is going to add power based on our level to regular attacks for 2 turns. So this is going to give us a +4 on our power, which is real nice, and a hit chance of +3. So I could either launch that completely off now or build that up, but really what I want to do is I don't think I have anything to heal myself. Let me check this out here. Attack adjacent targets with a hit chance of +2. Based on power level, that gives me a +2. Yeah, it's okay. Every target in the room will be stunned based on a roll. I could possibly stun him for 1. That's a tough one. Strong constitution. When my health is reduced to 3, 2, or 1, you will heal based on the amount of your level. Heck, let's just go ahead and do this one. This one takes no AP to cast off. I can heal 5, so that's my level 1. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to roll for it. So we're at 3. If I heal 5, that brings us up to an 8. Alright, so we've used that one. I can't use Intimidating Presence because there's no way that I'm going to find anything that is this low. So this isn't going to help me. Chest isn't going to help me. So either I could do a scream to try to stun him, but I'll be using 1 action point to do that and then start building up my power rage, or I could just go ahead and launch off power rage now, but I won't be getting any turns to do that. So let's do this. Let's try it. Let's go ahead and use Primal Scream for 1. Alright. Every target in the room will be stunned on a roll of 6. 6 or less. I have to roll a 1 through 6. So let's see if we get. Okay, we failed with an 11. That's alright. I guess it says it doesn't say successful, but it does say gain 1 experience points. I may be wrong on this one, but since I did activate it, maybe we'll just get 1 experience points for the activation, not for the success of the card. I have 2 action points left, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build up the AP for this one here. So we've done 2. I only need 1 more to launch that off next turn. Alright, now that we've finished out, I have an engaged enemy with us. All my action points are used, so he's going to go ahead and attack. It's going to be the same thing. His hit chance is going to be a 14 because of the AP 3 and because of my hit chance -1 here on my shield. Alright, so he's got to roll 14 or lower, which he rolls a 16. I am actually safe on that one, believe it or not. That's going to end the turn here for the warrior. So now we're going to go over to the wizard. The very first thing I need to do is spend 1 action point here to go ahead and kick this off. And I guess I'll just note it here. Okay. So now we have Scroll of Power. Unfortunately, it's not going to kick into effect until the very next turn of the person who's using it. So I really would like the wizard to go first next round, so I'll probably opt to do that. If I attack the dungeon boss, that is going to pull him in to me to possibly launch some attacks off on me. So let's see if we can help out here. Firelight is don't need that one. We don't need to evade, and that's just not going to help us out. Wall of Fire that's going to be an attack, so this wall lowers the target's defense, the amount based on the level. The Wall of Fire appears around the targets in the room. This wall lowers the target's defense, the amount based on the level, so it's going to lower it by 1, which is nice. That'll bring him down to a 9. That makes him a little easier to hit, but that's going to require 3 to launch that off, and that is I believe I guess that's not a scroll. This one will actually take effect immediately. I could opt to do some more healing and still have 1 point left. That's a tough call for me right now. But I think I could use more of the healing. So let's go ahead and use heal for 2 action points, and we'll heal the warrior up to a 10. We gain 1 experience point for that. I think I used this another time, but I can't remember if I used I don't remember if I used the experience point for that or not. All right, so she only has 1 left. So let's see if there's one that she wants to try to build up for another turn. All right, that Wall of Fire did sound pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 to that one, and we'll fire that off on our very next turn. Okay, so we'll put the AP meter there at 2 and get ready for that one. All right, now we are in a new round, so we're going to go ahead and roll. Even though I want my wizard going first, I'll opt. Well, it doesn't really matter because this one rolled an 8 and warrior rolled an 11. Alright, so our scroll now of power has officially taken place. Now this is going to last us for 3 turns, so I'm going to go ahead and mark our first turn here that it is on a 3. So now all of the heroes in the room have power plus 4, so this is going to really help us out. Since it's her turn, she needs to go ahead and finish this off and activate the Wall of Fire. So now all of the targets in the room, he's not weak to fire, which unfortunately, so he's not going to take any damage, but he is going to be lower 1 point of defense for any attacks made by me. Alright, let's see, what else do we got? That was 1 action point used for Wall of Fire. That was to put it here. Now I still need to activate it. This is a 3, so that one was 1 here. So 2. I actually need 2 to finish that off. So she has 2 left. So I guess in order, what she'll do maybe is use another heal for another 2 action points for our warrior. That brings him up to 12. Gives her another experience point of 3. And she's not going to do anything else. She's not going to make any attacks. She's going to stay where she is. Oh man, I should be looking at that scroll of evasion. That might really help me out. But it is what it is. So now we're going to move over to the warrior. He has 3 action points. The scroll has now taken effect, so his power is +4. Power Rage ability is, let's see, he's got 1 more to activate that. So let's go ahead and activate the Power Rage ability for 1 action point. So he has 2 left. Now what Power Rage does is add power based on the level to regular attacks for 2 turns. Okay, that'll be a power level of +4. So what we have happening here is our Scroll of Power is giving me +4 power. I have my Power Rage ability, which is now giving me +4 of power. And my base power is 5. So we have 8 here. We have 9 for my sword. And then we have the 5, which I have now a total of 14 power. So I might be able to do some damage to this one, maybe before it kills me. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. So we're gonna go ahead and try our best. Now this Wall of Fire also brings down his defense by -1. Okay, so we're gonna roll, and his hit chance doesn't have any modifiers on it. So my hit chance is 13. So I have to roll that. I have to roll a 13 or under. Actually, my hit chance is better than that because all attacks against this hero. Oh, all attacks against a hero gain +3. Okay, so this isn't helping my hit chances at all. Okay, so 13. I have to roll a 13 or less for this attack to succeed. And I rolled a 1. Holy crap. So my attack against the dungeon boss was successful, so my experience goes up to 2. Now we need to calculate the damage done. Alright, so he has a -1 against his defense, so that brings it from a 10 to a 9. So, and then we're going to take all of my points here, which was 14, right? Let's see, 5, 6, plus the 8, yes, 14. And then we're going to minus the 9 here. So we have a difference of 5. Okay, so he only has 5. That's 5 health taken away from his 14. So he is now at a 9. Probably just need to remember that somehow, or I have some tokens here. 5 health loss. Oh, we'll just put 5 because that's what he just lost. Okay, so that's going to be a damage on him. So this is going to be our first turn that we've used that for. This is going to be 2 there. Now, if I wanted to take, I could take a chance for my wizard to actually do some more damage, but we'll just see how much we have left over. Alright, so that was my first action point used against the attack. Now he still has 1 more left because he did use one of his action points to activate Power Rage. And so he still has 1 left to attack with, so we're going to go ahead and do this one more time. Alright, we got a 4. So again, the attack was successful. So we go to 3 for the experience. Now, it's the same thing. We've done another 5 points of damage to him because it's the same thing. So we've done a total of 10. So he only has 4 points of health left. If we need any chance of defeating him, I will need to first survive his attack that he's going to do against me, and then reactivate all of this stuff again, hopefully not bombing my 2 chances. Actually, I have 3 chances on my next turn. Alright, so that's going to end the warrior's turn. We've already marked this event has happened once for the Power Rage. And there's no dungeon boss, or there's no boss event cards that we're going to draw. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and shift it over to the wizard. Now, she's not going to do anything too much. She's just going to keep things kind of going along here. Now that was, for the Wall of Fire, that was already 1 event length for that. She did cast it off at the end of the turn. Let me see. She cast it off at the end of the turn last time. I'm trying to think when she... Yeah. So at the end of her turn, so that was the first time she cast it off here. And so it would be the first of this one that this one is done. So unfortunately, this Wall of Fire may only be around, since I didn't mark it last time, this Wall of Fire is only going to be around for her turn. Now, if she was going to draw the boss in, she wouldn't have much of a chance of hitting it because her power, the Power Rage is not helping her, only the Scroll of Power is. So right now, hers is a power of 3, the staff gives her a 4, and this one with the Scroll of Power is another 4, so she has a total of 8. She wouldn't have enough, unfortunately, to even damage the dungeon boss without taking a lot of damage herself just for even trying. So what we'll do is we'll just see here what we can do to help. We can heal. We can actually double attack. We can double the base power of a regular attack. This includes all equipped items. This might be worth trying out, but the dungeon boss will get an attack on us if once we draw him over here. So she's got 4 action points total. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go and draw the boss over here for an attack. Okay, we'll slide this over here. And so we're going to make an attack here. This is going to be 2 action points. So that'll use 2 out of her 4. She's going to double the base power of a regular attack. Now her base power is 3. So she's going to double that. So it's going to be 6. Her staff gives her a 7. And then the Scroll of Power will be 11. Sorry. So she's got a total power of 11. And so we're just going to see if she can make the hit. Okay, her hit chance is 14. She doesn't have anything helping that out. So we'll see if we can roll. This will be her 3rd action point she's using. She gets a 20. That is a complete failure. She has 1 more action point left for this, and so she's going to go ahead and roll it again, and we'll hope for the best. Alright, she gets an 8, so that attack is successful. Again, we'll look at her, the amount of power she has. So she's got a 6 from the extreme attack. Her staff gives her a 7. And then plus 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we take that power and we subtract it against the 10 here. Or it'll be a 9 because the Wall of Fire is taking that down from a 10 to a 9. And so that's 2 points of damage, right? So we did 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, minus 9. So yes, 2 points of damage. And I don't know if I have a marker for 2 points of damage. Oh, here we go. Health loss. 2. Alright, so far, Giant has lost 10, 11, 12. Alright, only has 2 more points of life left. Now, there's no more action points that the wizard has, so he is going to go ahead and attack her. Her hit chance is, I'm trying to think here. Okay, he needs to roll an 18. Minus the 4 of the wizard, so that's going to be a hit chance of 14 that the giant has. Okay, so it's got to do 14 or under. It did a 12. That was successful for the giant. Now he is going to do 11, and the wizard is not weak to fire, so 11 points of damage minus the defense of 3 is going to be 8. So she's going to go from a 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 damage on that. Now that's the only attack that he can do. So that's going to finish out the wizard's turn. This is going to be the Scroll of Power's second round that we've finished it in. And the Wall of Fire is now finished, and that is going to go away. Okay. Now we're going to roll to see who goes first, but we'll probably, no matter what we get, we're going to opt for the wizard or for the warrior to go first. So 14 and 17, we would have been the wizard, but we're going to go ahead and she's going to opt to go last. What the warrior's going to do is he's going to attack, so he's going to pull the enraged giant over to him. He has 3 action points, so he's got 3 chances to try to get this off unless there is something else that we want to do. Oh, now an extreme attack, we did have, if attack hits, gain 1 experience point. Alright, we did attack and it did hit, so it goes to 4. Alright, some of the things that we have here is we can try to do our primal scream. I'd rather try to get as many hits in as possible on the giant before my power rage is done, because this is going to be the final time that I'm actually able to use it. And the Scroll of Power is still helping us out. Alright, so now I'm just going to start, I'm going to roll all 3 of my action points to the actual attack here. Alright, so the first one, I need to get a 13. Okay, and we got an 8. The attack was successful, so we go to 4. With that, we just calculate what we have. Scroll of Power is 4 for the power. Power Rage is another 4, so that's 8. 9 for my sword, so and 14 is total. I guess I should remember that number. 14 minus the 11. Oh no, I'm sorry. 14 minus the 10. That is 4 points of damage. You only needed 2. The dungeon boss has been defeated. However, there are a couple of issues that I found. Just me uploading the videos and getting, you know, chunks of it edited and put together, that I came across some things I wanted to clear up real quick while I still have your attention. Hopefully I still do. The first one is I used heal twice on the wizard, or the wizard used the heal spell twice. For some reason, I don't know what I was doing, but the spell was done correctly, and she heals a total of 4. But for some reason, when I went both times to heal my warrior, I only healed him up 2 points. I know that was done both at like around the 57-minute mark and even the 59-minute mark. I only healed him twice. So as of 59 minutes 48 seconds in, he would have actually been healed all the way up to full health. Now, another glaring mistake I made was one of the turns. It was the second round that I was actually attacking the dungeon boss. I totally forgot to do his attack. I mean, I skipped right over it and went to the warrior's turn. So I need to resolve that now. I know I've already defeated him, but I need to go ahead and resolve that to see if we'll have any further health taken off of me, because that's important to me. I like to make sure to get that right. So we're kind of backing it up a little bit. We're not taking away the fact that I've killed him, but we are making sure to give him the attack to me if it was successful or not. Okay, so during the fight, the Power Rage ability had actually taken effect. So when that was in effect, we would have had a hit chance of +3. Okay, so that actually makes me easier to be hit. So my hit chance would have been actually, I'm sorry. His hit chance, he has to roll an 18 or lower to get that hit chance. Now, my AP3 knocks that down by 3 points. Okay, so that actually makes him hit on a 15. Well, with the Power Rage, since it's a +3, it basically knocks my AP3 out for the hit chance modifier. So he is attacking at his full 18 probability. So he's just basically got to roll an 18 or high or lower in order to hit me. So he rolls an 18. So he was successful on the hit. So we take his power, which is 11, and we subtract that from my defense, which then gives it a 6. Now he hits with fire, so he'll hit with additional 2 for the elemental damage. So I'll be taking a total of 8 damage. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that puts me down at 5. So that's where I currently stand as far as health goes. Okay, so we can go ahead and knock this guy completely off since he has been defeated. Now, the Power Rage card was done. Now, I did give myself XP for all the hits that I did, but the Power Rage ability card was actually, if I read that, it's gain 1 experience point plus 1 experience point for each hit. Now, I already gave myself the points for the hits, but I did not give myself the XP for actually launching this all successfully. So that'll take him from the 4 where he was at to the 5. So where we currently stand with the warrior has got 5 experience, 5 health, still a level 1. You really need to work on that. And everything should be good with the wizard here. I don't think there was anything I really saw. There was one thing I wanted to mention real quick. I explained it wrong on the video, but it was still handled correctly. Now for extreme attack, this basically is like an oomph or a power up to your existing attack. So when we spend 2 AP, this is not like we have to kick this off for 2 AP and then spend a third AP to actually attack. This is coupled with the attack. Okay, so it's like you're spending an extra action point with your attack to just really drive it home. So I attacked twice during the wizard's turn. So that my first one would have been. My first time launching this off, I didn't hit. I didn't roll well enough, so I wouldn't have gotten the experience point for the hit. The second time I would have had to launch it off again, which I did. I used 2 action points to get the extreme attack, and was successful on that. And it did fill out all 4 of my action points for the wizard's turn. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure to explain that correctly. This one was finished off, the Scroll of Power. Now the only thing we had left to do is for defeating the dungeon boss, we get 4 rewards. 4 reward cards. So go ahead and draw those out now. And they're going to be basically in the same space that the dungeon boss was in. So he's dropping a, let's see, Thick Robe of Mastery, which gives a hit chance of -1 and a defense of 3, which is real nice. This is that'd probably be good for the wizard to wear. He is also dropping a 2-handed Firelight Staff, which is power 2. This is cast level 2 Firelight, it's really 1 nice. AP. Backstab Knife is power 2 plus 1 additional power for backstab ability. I don't think the wizard has the backstab ability. That would be somebody else, but still the power 2 on it's really good. And the final thing will be a health potion of +5. Alright, so that's our 4 items that the dungeon boss dropped. Now the warrior still has 2 action points left, so he'll spend 1 of those action points to go ahead and pick up these items here that are left on the ground. Alright, the final action point, we're just going to go ahead and explore the pile of debris here, and that'll finish his turn out. And for that, he's going to get a key. I want to say he already has a key. It's hiding somewhere. There it is. Okay, so the warrior's already got a key. It's a pocket item, so it's not going to count against us, but right now I have a health potion, backstab knife, firelight, robe, evasion scroll, and health potion. I am full up, so I can't carry any more actual items, but since it's a pocket item, it's not counting against me. I'd probably like to do, as in a future turn, trade that with the wizard so she can actually have a key with her. And it's not something we discard, so it stays with us forever. Alright, that finishes the turn of the warrior out. And that pile of debris goes away. And then it moves over to The wizard, since we started out her turn, we opted for her to go last because we wanted the warrior to go. The warrior, or I would say the wizard. I keep doing that. The W's drive me nuts. She'll first. Let's go ahead and launch off the heal ability for 2 action points. And this is going to heal everybody in the room, and we gain an experience point for that. So she'll go to 5. And everybody's going to get healed 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Warrior. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now we'll just do that again. We really need our health. So we get another experience point. And then we heal up another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's now fully healed. The warrior, 1, 2, 3, 4. He is now fully healed as far as level 1 goes. That's exhausted her out of all her turns, or all of her action points. So now we need to roll. And we'll see who's going to go first.